Hey everybody, it's another day. We're going to start part 3 of this little electrical wiring adventure. We're going to look at, I wired up the headlights. We're going to go over getting the dash in, maybe wiring up some tail lights, and then getting the gauges all wired up and tidying up all the remaining wires and stuff on the top of the car. And I have a few things that I might have to do under the car. So I think that's what we're going to do today. So we'll be back on this monster. It's getting a little closer, bit by bit. It's getting a little closer. Let's see what I did. A few things off camera. I ran, remember last episode, I had to run the brake switch wires underneath the car. So I got those ran through the loom, and that was not fun. I got those down there, and I got the wires ready to hook up. I could not find, I needed 2 female bullet connectors. I got all kinds of wiring stuff. I dug through everything I had and couldn't find 2. So I had to wait on him. He ordered a pack of the bullet connectors. I got those in. So I hooked the brake switch up to this episode. I did go ahead. I cleaned up the headlight bar and the headlights. I wired them in. I had some of this really nice loom that I put on there to make it look nice. So that's done. Let's see. What else? Oh, I painted the dash. I found some real nice stainless screws to go in there to mount the dash. I cleaned up that aluminum panel as best I could. It was in pretty rough shape, but I got it cleaned up, got the gauges all cleaned up. So we have to get into the back of this, and I have to wire like all the sending units, power to all the gauges, power to a lot of this stuff. I got to work on. There's the speedometer. I got to run the headlight switch stuff, and all that. So I don't know if he got the. Let me look and see what he got real quick, because look, he got the old Sun style tachometer to go in it, and I have figured out how to get that wired up. Here's those bullet connectors we were talking about. There's this cool charging port that I got to fix up for it. Some flip switches for the fan. I got a relay for that. Oh, he got some the spacers. These spacers that I'd made for him. I got to get them painted up. And here's the temp sending unit, but we got to get a temp switch for the fan. Oh, and we're gonna get these cool marker lights mounted on both sides. So we're gonna get to that. So that's what we're gonna get to on this one. So I don't see the headlight switch or the windshield wiper switch. I can't wire those in, but he said there's more stuff supposed to be there today. If that comes in, then he's going to try and run it over here to me, so maybe I can get that done in this video too. So, and this video might take a couple of days. It's right before Christmas. I'm going to work today, and then I'm not going to work again until after Christmas. Grandbaby's coming tomorrow, and that wipes out tomorrow and Christmas morning and all that. Yeah, we're done. We're gonna be with grandbaby, and I may just insert a picture of grandbaby right here now. Cause she's, I know I'm biased, but she's absolutely beautiful, and is the most gorgeous baby in the whole entire world. And some of y'all would disagree with me because I'm sure you have them too, and you think that of yours. But I guarantee you, this one is, yeah, she's awesome. So stick with me, and we're gonna get on this thing. And I hope everybody had a very, very, very merry Christmas. And I think this video will be out on New Year's Day, I think. So to everybody out there, happy, happy, happy New Year. I hope the new year brings you all the blessings that you want and deserve in this next year coming. So, you know, best wishes to everybody in 2026. So, stick with me. I'm going to be back on it here in just a second. If I can just keep from spilling them all over the dead gum floor, I'll be alright. Alright, got the butt connectors. These are the little bullet connectors. Alright, let's see how I'm going to do this, or what I'm going to do. I think we're going to try and do the gauges. To figure out. These are wired up already in a manner that helps me out, actually. Just got to figure out what is what. I know that's the voltmeter. This is, let me look. Actually, that's the amps. And this one is the fuel gauge. Okay, there's the sender for the fuel gauge. Right there. Oh, I know, that's the lights. Okay, so that's the power to the light for the instrument panel, the lights in the instruments. Okay, that's the sender. This is the power to power up the gauges themselves. Because I know that's the sender for the oil. This is the sender for the temp. This is the sender for the fuel. So, let me get those wired up first. Okay. And then I need to find my fuel sender. Cut this off of here real quick. Alright, these are all my gauge wires. So look at right there. First one I'll look at says fuel sender right there. So, okay, so that's going right there. Connect that together, shield that up, and do this. Oh, where's my little thing? Little cuppy thing. This thing doesn't stay real tight, so it keeps sliding off of there if I'm not careful. That would be one down. And it's going to connect right back into there. If I can make my fingers work in here. Right there. There we go. Knocked something off. I don't know what I knocked off. Okay. So next, I'm going to pull the power. This is power to the whole gauge setup for all the lights. So, let's see, I gotta find the That's the tachometer. That's an extra I can get rid of. Gauge power. Let's see. Gauge power is that one, alright? Yeah. So that should be there. And I should have one that comes from the headlight switch. High beam indicator. Left indicator. Right indicator. I could put those together for my indicators, and I won't be looking for them in a minute. And that's the indicators. And that says temp sender. That's oil sender. And where would my light? Okay, I gotta figure out where I stuck. I must have stuck it in the headlight hole. I bet that's what I did. I stuck it in the headlight hole. Let me double check real quick. Now, that don't make no sense. Where did my wire go to? Tachometer, oil sender, temp sender, gauge power. This says gauge power. So this says gauge power, so maybe that's from the headlights. Let me go check my schematics. Be right back. Alright guys, well I hit a snag. The voltmeter had a post broke on the back of it. When I got to try and wire it, and I was trying to take the nuts off the back, and one of the posts just spun and wasn't connected to nothing. So I don't know what the deal was with that, but he's ordered another one, so I got to wait on that. I'm still looking for the wire that goes to power the lights and the gauges. It says there was a brown wire, but I know I pulled every wire there was to the headlight switch and to the gauges, and it's not there. And I may just have to run an additional wire, which I don't think I'd have to do, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure it out. So because of that, and I got to wait on parts and all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna come back a different day. So I got some other stuff I need to do, and it's already after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it doesn't do me any good now to try and get any more done. So he's ordered some more parts, so I'm going to wait for all that to come in, and then I'll come back and we'll jump back on it on another day. So it'll be after Christmas, because tomorrow's Christmas Eve, it's Christmas Day, got grandbabies to play with, and then so it'll be the Friday after before I get back on it. So till then, hey, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and again, Happy New Year to all. Thanks. All right, everybody. It's the day after Christmas for me. And like I said, I know this video won't be out until the day after New Year's, I think. But one of the things I got is this little handy-dandy microphone for a Christmas present. So maybe my audio will be a little different. Let me see. I'm going to go get my hat. And I'm going to go get my glasses. And I hope you guys can hear me pretty well from way over here. So maybe this will help in my audio issues that I know I end up having. So it looks like it works. I don't know. I don't know how long the mics last. I don't really know anything, because when I opened the box and I set everything to the side and we were cleaning up, I guess the instruction booklet that came with this, it went in the rest of the wrapping paper trash and all that kind of stuff. And well, I burned all that yesterday, so I don't have it. So I don't know how long I was lucky enough to figure out to push which button to turn this stuff on. So anyway, here we go. We'll be back on the let's see if I can get you. We're gonna be back on the 31. See what we got going. I got some connectors. We had a few things come in. and I got some stuff painted up and ready to go. I don't even remember now. It's been a couple of days, so I'm not sure exactly where I left off, to be honest with you. I know he had to order the voltmeter, so wait on that to come in. Oh, I was trying to figure out where the power for the dash lights, but I think what I'm going to have to do is run a wire from the new, what did I do with it? The new headlight switch. What did I do with that? That's not super good, is it? That I can't remember where I put stuff. Well, they'll leave it over here. Well, I would lose my head if it wasn't attached. And I had them. I had them. Where did they go? What did I do with them? Oh, there's the headlight switch. I found it. And I had the other switch to go with it. Where's that at? Well, I found the headlight switch, but what I'm gonna have to do is and I had the diagram over there too. I gotta go from the park light lug to this right here, which will power up the lights in the gauges. So let me get my act together real quick, and then I gotta go find the wiper switch, because I really don't know what I did with it. It should have been right there with this. So I'm gonna set this right here. I'm gonna go get my diagram. I'm gonna find the other switch, and I'll be back and we'll get started back on this. So stand by. Okay, kind of got my stuff together. Maybe. Let's see, I got the headlight switch right here. I got my wiper switch right here, and I don't need but just an on-off for the wiper. So you know where there's my wiper arm right there. So I went ahead and put a piece of shrink wrap on these two lugs right here, just to make sure it doesn't short out on anything. But now I'm going to see if I can kind of I got some shrink wrap right there. Alright, so that's the wiper. Let's go ahead and hook up the sending unit stuff first. I gotta remember where I left off. Okay, that was my indicators. My sending unit, this is gauge power here, I think. Okay, that's gauge power. This one is temp, and this one is oil. Okay, let me figure out which one's which in here again real quick. Temp is the top one, so that's that wire. See if I can get that off of there. Okay, so that's the temp, which is that one right there. So this one's gonna go to there. I need to shorten that up just a little bit. Click that off. Oh, I need a piece of shrink tube on these. I want to get a little bit of shrink tubing to go on these. Right. That's oil. Which one was I using? This one. So that one's gonna go right up into there. Well, get it in there. Because I don't want to touch it because it's hot. is hot. I need a pair of needle nose. I sure hope this microphone's working like it's supposed to. Ah. Ow, ow, that's hot, still. Okay, that's the temp sender hooked up. All right, let's do the oil sender next. It's got to go right there. Ow. Ow. Alright. That's on there, so those will go together. Alright, this is going for the voltmeter, which is supposed to be in tomorrow, I think. And that's going to go to the voltmeter for the power, so I need to run gauge power to this, which would be this one. So if that's going to go into there, let's run this like that right there. Cut this excess off. Alright. Then I need to strip this. Oh, I got that one stripped already. Let me get a union. Let's do a bullet connector there and put that together. That. Ah, that's about right, ain't it? I hate it when that happens. Let's try this again. Alright, so then that'll go there on that gauge, along with those wires. Alright, this one right here is the one that's going to catch power from the headlights, right there. And this is this is a cruise control wire. I was mistaken on this one. And that's a cruise control wire, which I don't think there's any use for, but we're gonna put it up out the way like so and zip tie it just in case, if I can find some zip ties. I know I had a bundle of zip ties somewhere. There they are. Kind of running low on zip ties. Well, and then I drop them. But if there's anything he needs to add later on, there'll be some extra wires in here that will work for him. There's the gauges, so everything is hooked up to the gauges except for the voltmeter, which I'm waiting to come in. Now, next up, I have to, these are the three indicators, the high beam, left and right turn signals. He's ordered some. I have some like them. I'll go get them real quick. I'm going to have to drill out where they're going to need to go in here. I'm going to have to mark them and drill them. And those might be fun to, let me see. Yeah, I'm going to put the high beam indicator up here in the top of this one. And then I'll put one of the blinkers on this side and one of the blinkers on this side over here. I'll have to drill those and put those in there. It didn't have any indicators, which it needs to have some indicators, so I'll do that in a minute. Up next, let's do the, here's the wiper power, I think. Power to the wiper, right? Wiper power, okay. And my wiper's going right there, so I don't need a lot of line. So let's clip that about right there. And strip it out. Come on, work with me. Okay. So here's my wiper switch. Battery power is right there. I think that one got a good crimp on it, yeah. Alright. And then this will come down over that, like so. Put some heat to it. I like that heat shrink on there because it will actually help lock the end to the wire, so it keeps it maybe from falling off of there or getting pulled off. Okay, here's my wiper wire, and it's gonna go right there. So actually it needs to come up under there like that. So those two about the same length. Let's get that down over that. There's some insulation. Where'd it go? Well, dropped it. So, ow, that's hot. Alright, this one is going to connect to this one, like so. And this one shouldn't be hot anymore. It's going to connect to that one, right there. Alright, and I am going to take a little bit of tape and put these together. Ow, that's still hot though. Alright, put that together like that. Then I can run it in here, like so. Put the nut on it. Alright, now I gotta clock it. Okay. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. Oh, that wrench isn't big enough. Okay. Oh, I gotta watch that microphone because it might want to stick to my door since it's got a magnet. What is the deal? Alright. What's the problem? Why does this thing not want to work? Okay, now I don't know what's going on here. It was working fine. Alright, that don't make no sense. Why is this thing not wanting to work? That makes no sense at all. No sense at all. What is the deal? What is the deal? Oh, I better make sure this deadgum thing still works right. This is not making me excited about what happened with this switch that I just hooked up. If I put power to the switch right there. Oh, come on. That's a ground right there, maybe. So if I power the switch right there. So it's off. That should be on right there. So I put power to the switch. Why is it not working? Why is that not working? Come on. Now. That screw is loose right there. It's a ground. It's supposed to ground right there. And if I put power to it, All right, that works. Why has everything got to be difficult? So, I'll quit. Because this ought to switch. Alright, now I'm getting aggravated. Because I know that works. I know the motor works. Come on. I have too much crap in my way is what I have. Alright, let's take this ground, put it on the ground. Okay, so now, if I run power to this switch, it should work. Aha! Okay, so my switch still works. All right, I don't know why it was froze up. That made absolute no sense. Okay, let's try this again. There's that. Okay, let's run that under there. Come in behind here. Put this back in. I can get my fingers, my big old fat fingers in there. So this is like that. Like that. That's a pain in the ass right there. I don't know why it doesn't want to work. Let me get around to the other side and see if I can. Do I have a little small flat blade? I think that's what that is on there. Yep, little small flat blade screwdriver. Let me get one of them. That's what I need right there. Get in here and tighten this knob up. Is that gonna hit my camera? Alright, so now I have to tighten that up. The way it's sitting. I can't tighten that up. Oh man, why? So if I hold that in place, okay, that's off. That's off right there. Is off. Right? So that needs to stick straight up. That's off. Alright. Now let's see if I can get this knob on here and get it tightened up. Come on. Is it possible? Does not appear to be possible for me to get this thing tight. Is that a smaller screwdriver than that? I don't know if I got one small enough. The problem is, there's no room for me to get to this thing. Oh, you dirtbag, you. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn that just a little bit to get to where I can put that thing. Really? Makes no sense why that's got to be so hard to turn. No sense whatsoever. Man. I have figured out that nothing can be simple for me to do. All right. Oh, man. Okay. That's the windshield wipers right there. Indicators. Pull these wires back out right here. This is for the headlight. And I don't know if you guys knew this or not. Does that say tail? Okay, that's the back. On the older cars, and that's the way this switch is set up for an older vehicle, when you turn the switch on to the first notch, it lights the park lights up, and it'll light the front park lights and the rear park lights up. When you turn it to the headlights, the front park lights turn off, and only the rear park lights continue to work. That's the way the older ones are set up. So that's the way this one's going to set up. So this says front, and I got to remember which one's which. Let me get my screwdriver here. First things first, let me figure out how far the wires need to be together in here to go up there. This knob just unscrews off of here. This comes off of here like so. So these are going right there. So all of these just need to go like right there. So I'm going to cut all 4 of these loose right here. I have a hard time keeping up with my stuff. Okay, all 4 of these. Don't need to do that one because that's my power windows. So I need to get that out of the mix for the lights. So all 4 of these, and they need to be about way long, right? Because they're going right up under there. So let's cut these loose about right here. And let's do 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Come on. Okay. I gotta look at which one's which again. It says front. So let's do the front one first. Get back in there. Get in there. Let's hit that one more time. All right. Oh, I'll just fast forward through these. Well, I can't get the nut on the back to quit turning with the nut on the front to tighten up in the right place. That's about right, isn't it? That's all this lovely Chinese made stuff, I'm pretty sure. You can't get it, there's no space to get anything on it to hold that nut tight in the back. Get my finger back there, but it won't, I can't get enough pressure on it to hold it. Nope. And the light switch information is sideways, and that irritates me. But there it is. Okay. So I got light switch, wiper switch, That's all hooked up. This is my power windows. This is going to be a different, I got to mess with it later. All right, indicators and tachometer. Let me take a break. I'm going to double check my battery on my camera, make sure I'm still coming over with my microphone, because this is the first time I ever used it. So I'll be right back. All right, I know y'all couldn't see me working inside with the switches, but here's the headlight switch and the wiper switch. That's what I was having so much difficulty with. But that's in there now. I also just got these marker lights in. They're pretty cool marker lights. That's the ones I'd showed y'all. So I got both of those put in, and that wasn't extremely easy either, but they're in place. So now, what do I need to do? I need to wire those two lights up, get that taken care of. Oh, I tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and drill out the indicator lights. I'm gonna go ahead and mark them and drill them out, and then I'll come back when I get that done. So hang on just a minute. Okay, here's what I got done. What I done did, or whatever. I managed to get the indicators in. He's trying to find the vents for the two sides that go in here. So, but I got the indicators in. I got the indicators wired. I'm waiting on this gauge to come in so I can finish hooking it up. Oh, I got the marker lights in and wired up on both sides. I had forgot to put my wire to my gauge lights on my switch, so I had to take the switch back out and put that on, so that's on. Everything else is hooked up. This wire right here is to the power windows, so I got to run that somehow. I got to test the motors on the windows, because one of them is supposed to not be working. These wires right here are for the fan, and then this relay right here will be for the fan. I got to put the temperature sender in, the thermostatic one that turns the fan on and off. I got to get it put in, and then I have to wire this to where it goes to that switch to turn the fan on, also to go to a regular toggle switch, which will be under the dash, that he can flip on to turn the fan on, and run it all through this relay right here. So I got to do that, and I got to pull this wire loom out, some of the wire out of here, to hook the tachometer up to, so that then I can put the tack on the steering wheel for him. So that's where I'm at. I'm almost there. It's late in the day right now. I had to fight the indicator lights, getting them in, because if you can see right here, there's the aluminum plate on the inside of the car, and then the fiberglass dash, and the thickness of the fiberglass dash was too much. The nut didn't come through. So I had to drill that out with a hole saw on the back side so that I could get a nut in there and put the indicators in. So that wasn't fun either. And then I got these mounted up. These are pretty cool. There'll be a marker light and then a turn signal light. So the list is dwindling down. So I'm going to call it a day today, and come back out here tomorrow, and I'll try and get the tail lights wired in with the license plate light. Get the battery set in. Get the battery cables run to the front. Get the starter wires hooked up to the starter and the starter installed. So I mean, it's getting there. It's starting to come together. So I'm going to do that tomorrow and see what else we got left. And he's got more parts coming in. The horn cancel cam thing came in. I got to get it from him so I can put that back together and put the new steering wheel on it. And he's got the tack over here. Let me bring it over this way. But he got this Equus tack, but it's kind of like the old Sun tacks. So, and it mounts around the steering column. So looks like, and yeah, it's got a mount over there or something. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get it mounted somewhere, probably off to the side a little bit like that, or maybe straight up. I don't know. Probably a little off to the side, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna work on that tomorrow. So I hope my new mic is helping. I hope my audio's better. I think one of my kids bought me that, and it was one of the things I kind of been wanting, but I hadn't spent the money on. But she got it for me, and I'm hoping it works out well, and my audio gets a little better, and y'all can hear me a little better, and all that good stuff. You know, they say, YouTube gurus or whatever say that audio is an important thing, and the better your audio is, the better the quality of your video will be. I don't know. Like I said, I'm old. I'm not up on technology, so I'm just trudging along. But so anyway, I know I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Till tomorrow when I come back, we'll get back on it. So stick with me. Okay, I'm back at it today. Let me show you what I did up under the back of the car here real quick. Let's see if you can see all of this. So I wired in the tail lights. I heat shrunk all the connectors, and I taped them up, but up to where you can still see the connector. That way, if you ever got to take it loose, these are all the grounds, and that's all the park lights, and then that's all the brake turn signal. Same thing on this side. I did the same setup, and I got everything taped up to where the connectors are, so if you ever need to take it apart, you know where the connectors are. They're not taped up. You're not going to be searching for them, and everything will stay tucked up real nice and neat. So that's what we got. License plate lights are right here, and they're pretty cool little license plate lights right here. So it's one on each side. So that's done right there. I didn't video doing those tail lights because it took me forever. It was tedious, and it took me quite a while to get it done. So and I hope my microphone's working. But let me check and see. Yeah, it appears to be working. All right. So next up, I'm going to work on getting this tachometer hooked up, and the fan. Get the fan hooked up. So let me get all my stuff that I was using back there moved up here, back up here to the front, and I'll be right back. We'll jump on that. Okay, what I got to do over here is, I believe this is the wires going to that. Yep. And I need to splice into this. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Piece of purple. I need a longer piece of purple wire. Since the tack wire is purple and I need to splice into that, I figure I can splice into that with purple. Let me make a longer piece here. So let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. That works there. And that one right there. Okay. Let me heat those two up. And make me a nice little splice right here in the middle. Look at there. Maybe I was thinking about that before. All right. So let's see, I need to feed this back into my loom right there. And this back into my loom. Ow, that's hot steel. Can't tell you how many times I've burnt myself with that dadgum thing and that hot wire. The wiring part is not super difficult. It's just extremely time consuming. Extremely time consuming. Because especially if you're going to do all the heat shrink stuff, which I think is the way it should be done if you can do it that way. Do all the heat shrink stuff, and it just, because you see, I make the connector, and then I got to heat it up, and all of that good stuff. And then you got to loom it, and or tape it, or zip tie it to get it up out the way and make it look nice and neat and clean, which is kind of what I'm trying to do right here. Let's clean this up just a little bit. But it's just really time consuming. You know, this is part 3, I think. Yeah, part 3. And I don't know if I'll get everything done in part 3. Because I'm waiting on sending units and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to be until next week. So I think we're going to do everything I can do to finish what I got going on in this one. And then when all the rest of the stuff comes in, I'll finish that up and just show you that in whatever following video I work on after that. So, okay, so that's that tachometer wire hooked up to where that should work. Now let's go see about putting that tachometer in there. Let me move this stuff around. Wow, look at the wires on that. I don't think we'll need all them wires. All these wires through this thingy. Oh, I gotta run through this thingy first, because that goes on there. So that thingy and this thingy, and we're gonna feed that down to the back of this tachometer. Oh, feed that all the way down to the back, and then that fits into that like that. And we'll need to clock this thing probably right about there, I would say. And then this will fit like that. That purple wire, I think, needs to route around like that. Like so. So that's the tachometer wire. We'll need some power for the tachometer. I have a bunch over there. I just have to remember which one's which. I'm gonna build a panel from here to there. So I guess I'm gonna have to punch a hole in that panel to wire this up through. Or I'm gonna have to make some kind of accommodation for it up there. Right here. Tell you what, we're gonna hook this up after I get the battery hooked up so I can test which port I want to use for this. Let me make this panel first and then we'll fix that. I'll hook that up last. That will be easy. He ordered a radio and an antenna and some speakers. So I'm not gonna hook up the radio stuff or the auxiliary. And here's that cool auxiliary thing. It's actually got a voltmeter in it. I didn't realize that. But it's got USB and it's got the thing for you can hook up for to charge your phone and all that kind of stuff. It's got this handy dandy cover on it. And I'm not going to mount this until I make the panel underneath the dash. So, and then my switch for the fan will go underneath the dash also in that panel that I build. So, but I'm going to go ahead and hook this up and then I can just run the wires to it. So okay, remember I said these gray wires right here were for the fan. So let me hook some power up real quick. This is what I like about this power probe. I can hook to a ground so that I have ground to up there. This should activate my fan. Look at there. Look at there. Okay, that's direct. That power goes directly to the fan. So I need to mark that wire real quick so I know. And I'm just going to put a piece of black tape around it so that I know, okay, that's my direct power to the fan. Here's my relay. This will be power coming from the box, from the fuse box, fuse block. So that's going to go to this one. That's 85, 87, 86. So that will go to this one. That's power directly from the fuse block. Leave this a little long. Take this, and I'm going to connect this to the switch. So, let me get my union. Also, if I leave them a little long and that for some reason the wires are bad or whatever, I got a little room to work with. So that's power to the relay. I got to look up my diagram because I'm not real good with wires. I'm really not. I have a real problem with wiring. Power to 30, 87 goes out to that. So I need to wire my switch in to this one also. Let me cut the excess off of this because I'm going to have to put these two together because that's going out to the fan. Because this is going to go to my switch and then it's going to go to this because this is my power out of my breaker. So if something happens with the breaker, I can have power going straight to the fan. So if I power this up, I got power to there. Alright, so this will go to my switch and then that power will also go from there. Alright. 85, which is this one, will go to my thermostatic switch. So I have to run a wire out to the thermostatic switch, which is going to be out front. Let me see if I got a blue wire somewhere. So this needs to go out to the thermostat. All right, let me get a union. All right. So this and this goes out to the thermostatic switch. How about I run this out this one to there. And that out to there. 86, which is the green one, goes to a keyed switch. So it'll go to a keyed switch. You know what? I just messed that up. This is supposed to be to, that's my keyed source. I mess up, and I mess up regularly. So let's change that out. So these two need to go together. Let's try this again. So that's going on there, like so. All right, and my gray wire, this one right here, it's a little bit long. Gray wire goes right there. Okay, that's the keyed source right there. All right, let's redo the heat. You really smart people out there that know wiring and know what you're doing, y'all probably caught that right off the bat, saying, "No, dummy, that ain't the way that goes." I didn't hear you though when you said it. All right, now this is going to my constant battery power. Ow! I don't know how many times I burnt myself, but I'm tired of burning myself. That's not fun. All right. Well, I promise you that's gonna be plenty of wire right there. Let me just cut this back here. Okay, so what I got now is my 12-volt hot all the time right here, which is going to connect to that, but it also needs to connect to my switch, which is going to be down there. Cut that right there. So this I'm going to splice together with this. Splice together with that one. Cut the end of that off like that. That didn't go very deep in there, did it? I hope that connected. Okay. So that's going there, and that's going down to my switch. And then I can take this one, like that, and these two together, like so. And I have power to my switch, which will be down there. And this is going to my switch down there. So that can go like that. And this one, I don't need this wire, so I can cut it off. And I'm just going to stick a union on this one. And I'll heat shrink those. All right, well, my battery died. I'm back. Let's see, where was that? I got to heat these connectors up. And like I said, this is and that connector right there too. So that's everything I need. Okay, I got to get to the switch now, down there. I can take this, put me some tape around it and clean that up. Let me wire that switch up. Let me see if I can get my big butt in here. Get that over there. Okay. All right. Now, run this up here. I need to heat shrink that. And that right there. Down over that right there. So I need to cut this one off. Heat shrink up there. Okay. Pull that down over that like so. Alright, and I need one more. Oh, I gotta make me a ground. Okay, and I did all that because these dead-gum contacts are so close together, but they got to be that way so you can run that through to put it in. Ground on top, so it goes ground right there. I'm not going to put these on real tight all the way because I got to pull them back off. Main power, which is this one, goes right there. Main power will be right there, and load power supply will be right there. And I want to tape that together right there. Alright, so that hooks me up with my switch, and it'll go like right here when I get this panel made for here. That'll go like right there. And then I gotta run this back up through there, and I'll ground it over there. So what else do I need to do now? I'm gonna tackle the power windows later, and I'm gonna tackle the radio and the accessory later. So all of this can be like that for right now. So that's all stuff for later. All right, let's do a little rundown. First things first, thank you guys again for coming back and watching. If you would, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you want to comment and share, that'll be great too. I try and answer all the comments as quickly as I can. And for a little rundown, where we were at, I got the switch hooked up, I got the relay all wired, I got my tachometer hooked up, I got the tail lights in, or the tail lights hooked up. I still got to wire in the tachometer, I got to wire in the accessory charger, I got to wire in the radio. The radio and stuff he's got ordered. The 1 gauge, the volt gauge, he's got a new one ordered for that. Wait for it to come in. So I'm kind of at a standstill. The oil sending unit and the water temperature sender are ordered. They're not going to be here till next week. So I'm kind of hung up on what else I have that I can do. So I have to run the cables, the battery cables from the back up to the starter to the front. I got to wire up the starter. So I guess what I'm going to do is just call this the end of part 3. I was hoping to get everything done in this video, but the video is starting to get long, so I don't like going more than an hour. I like doing about 40 minutes to an hour because I know some of this stuff can get boring and you're just going to click through it, and I don't know, that does something to the algorithm too, but I don't know. I don't understand all that. I appreciate everybody that subscribed, and I appreciate every one of you guys that come back and watch me. Why? Sometimes I wonder, because like wiring that relay. I should have known better, but you know, I'm not super good with wires. I try to take my time and do them right and do them nice. I've done several wiring harnesses on different vehicles. Matter of fact, on the Nightmare over here, as soon as I get done with this coupe, I'm going to be back on the Nightmare and trying to finish what little bit of metal work I got done on it. And then I got to do the same thing. I got to put a wiring harness in this one. And I probably won't show you all the wiring harness stuff on this one, because you watch me do this one, it's the same exact wiring harness going in this one, so there's probably no use in me doing it. I'll just show you when I get it all done. what else have I got to, I got all that little, that it's not a lot of stuff, but it's some time consuming stuff that I got to do. So I may do some of it off camera and just show you in the next video it done, and we'll move on to whatever else I got to do, putting the steering column together, or belts, hoses, drive shaft, fuel tank, fuel line, transmission line. Fuel lines and transmission lines are ordered too. So, you know, I still got a lot to do. All the finishing stuff takes a long time. So, you know, I hope y'all stick with me through it. And like I says, I'm trying to get this thing done. Once I get all the stuff done to make it where it'll run, I'm going to play with my bead roller, and I'm going to bead roll some interior panels and stuff for this thing and get the windows in it and all that stuff to finish it up. But I want to bead roll some panels. I want to try and make some cool panels for it. Me playing with my bead roller, hopefully I can make something nice. I don't know if I can or not, but we're going to try and make this thing pretty cool. So, I mean, it's already a cool ride, but it's coming. So, as I always say, guys, hey, keep your head up. I had to keep my head up on this thing, believe me. Especially yesterday when I was so aggravated with the dadgum switches and stuff that I was fighting. So, but always keep your head up. Don't look down on yourself. Don't look down on others. Get out there and work on these old rides. Hey, save a part of history. So until next time, bye.